Hey, welcome to Bollox Talks and Tangents. I think that was where we're at.
I think so. The intro was in Spanish, so I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
Why would you talk to a Florida cracker
And an
Irishman
cracker.
in Spanish?
No habla español.
No habla anything.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's Thursday, 6:34. Appreciate you guys joining us. We got some cool stuff we're talking about today.
We do have cool stuff
today. We're talking strange and different churches around the world.
And best, worst hotels you've ever stayed in.
We personally have experienced. Taking it personal.
I've got some bad ones. I got some good ones.
I got some really good ones. Only a couple bad ones.
Yeah,
You know?
but the bad ones stay with you.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, and I traveled a lot when I was playing ball, so everything was a bad hotel. So I have to do it with a measure of badness.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough.
Yep. Blake's currently being blind by the sun. Blake, if you just shift your head one way or another, or pull down your head, there you go.
And don't look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that really helps.
But first thing we got to do, we got to talk about our amazing sponsors that we got going.
Hell yeah.
City Gates Distillery and St. Augustine Distillery. I'm telling you right now, one of the best tours. It's definitely the best tasting in town.
For sure.
They were voted best distillery tour in the country.
Yeah, I can tell you this. So Julie's uncle was in town this weekend. He lives down in Cape Coral. He's in a bourbon club in Cape Coral.
Oh, yeah.
He came up this weekend. Julie took him over to St. Augustine Distillery, and he dropped some serious bank in that place.
Excellent.
He dropped serious bank and tasted a lot of the bourbons, was blown away by the quality. Oh, seriously. Yeah. And this is a lifelong bourbon drink. This is a Buffalo Trace. This is a Pappy Van Winkle guy.
Oh, is he? And
he knows his stuff.
And I like a lot of good bourbons and stuff like that. But when I did the 20-year Pappy, which is like supposed to be the highest of the high, I actually liked a Basil Hayden better.
Yeah.
And that's a $59 bourbon.
Yeah.
Compared to a secondary market of Pappy's like $2,000.
Yeah.
People spend so much money on bourbons.
Yes, they do.
So, and actually, I got a great bourbon of the week. It is not one of our sponsors, but it's called Jefferson's, it was gifted to me for the show. And it's a very solid bourbon.
Solid bourbon.
Yeah.
So big shout out to everybody at St. Augustine Distillery for hooking up my wife's uncle, because he was really impressed with every aspect of the setup, and they do us proud right here.
They do such an amazing job. Will and Phil and all those guys over there just doing an incredible job. And Citygate, I mean, not to put them in second tier, but they have amazing liquors over there with incredible flavors.
Yeah.
That hit you from everywhere. Here, grab that little cup right up there.
Go on, give me a little.
Yeah.
Give me a little nugget in there.
I gotta have you try old TJ Jefferson's.
Thomas
I'm
Jefferson.
gonna give you a splash.
Of course, he shares a birthday with me, so I got a little.
Oh, he does.
He does.
Yeah. Because on this day in history, or this week in history, Thomas Jefferson joined the Congressional Congress. Read that just a couple of days ago.
Good old Tommy.
Yeah.
All right. 900-degree pizza and pasta. Holy moly, do I love these guys too.
Oh, I'm telling you right now.
Jesus, the pizza is so good.
I'm hooked on their ravioli now.
Really?
Like, I love their pizza. So, I mean, Blake and I will get a large pizza and then split a ravioli.
A ravioli addiction. Hey, it's a real thing. A ravioli addiction is a real thing.
Yeah, it's real. It's real, right?
Oh yeah, it's definitely real. But also won't discount the garlic knots as well. They're really good.
Garlic knots are solid.
Yeah.
Little too much bread for me.
No.
I know.
No.
At my age, I try and reduce my bread intake.
You are so diligent, sir.
Yes. Well, I got a little hangover
that
I never had before, which I'm not a fan of it. I can't see my belt from here.
Well, maybe don't eat as much at 900-degree pizza pasta.
To do that. It's so yummy. It's so yummy.
Yeah.
All right, next one. It's tax season right now, and these are the guys to call. Abare, Kresge, and Associates. All I can say is they're the best.
They're the best. You know where they are right now?
They're working.
In the office working.
They're working.
If you need taxes.
He better be working. He didn't call me back.
Ooh.
Billy? Yeah. So.
That's good, though. If he was calling you back, he'd have bad news.
He'll call me back.
Yeah.
He always calls back within 24 hours. All right. The Beacon Listening Room and Gypsy Cab. Oh, yeah. You can't beat Gypsy Cab's food. Cannot. And the Beacon Listening Room, it has the best music on the island.
Superb. And I want to give a shout out to Frank's kid, Isaac, who scored a hat trick in the game on Saturday. Plays alongside my kid, Finn. So
excellent.
Yeah,
Isaac.
There you go.
All right. Meehan's Irish Pub. Whew, these guys.
You know, every time I go in there,
These guys.
I'm in there having a few quiet drinks.
Yeah.
Somebody inside at Meehan's is going outside and pouring alcohol into my bicycle.
It happens.
What?
It happens.
I'm just inside minding my own business, having 15 to 20 quiet drinks.
And if you want to have a drunk bicycle, which some of us do,
Yeah,
and it happens.
It happens.
It happens.
Yeah.
You go to Meehan's.
You go to Meehan's. Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's something there.
I can tell you right now, I had the meatloaf on Saturday.
Yeah?
They have an Irish meatloaf there. I don't know what Irish meatloaf is, but it has daddle in it because I'm sure that happens a lot in Ireland.
All the time in Ireland.
Yeah. So it was
So good.
Yeah. But plus, also vouch for the mac and cheese as well.
The mac and cheese is solid. It's
Me, it's the Tommy Dolan burger all the way.
Tommy Dolan burger.
Love the Tommy Dolan.
All right, go check them out. 3 bars in one. They're a part of Sponsor Row right there.
Yes, they are.
Because we got the next one coming up. The next 2 coming up are right there at Sponsor Row.
They are.
All right, St. Augustine Pirate Museum, over 800 artifacts. These guys are so involved in the community.
Yeah. I love these guys.
I got an email from Cindy. She's about community pride. There's a House bill on tourism, and she's involved in all of those activities.
Yeah. They do a huge amount for the town. A huge amount.
They're just good. They're good people.
They're great people. And they help everywhere. They sponsor every cause these guys are involved in.
Yeah.
They really are. They're so generous. They give so much back to the town. And I fucking love the Pirate Museum.
Yeah,
I love the Pirate Museum.
And that same crew manages Colonial Quarter.
Yeah.
They have Taberna.
The Taberna, the guy.
And then they have King and Bull and Crown.
Bull and Crown, yeah.
Bull and Crown.
They do an amazing job.
So they just do an amazing job for our city. I'm so happy they're involved with us and with the city. Appreciate you guys so much for being with us. All right. Another guys, they're bringing a higher level quality to St. Augustine along the Bayfront.
River and Ford.
River and Ford. I mean, Jeff and Bob, appreciate you guys, and they put so much money into River and Fort, and it is so worth what they did.
I sent the aunt and uncle. I sent Julie's aunt and uncle there Thursday night last week.
Yeah.
Blown away.
Did they get the Grand Tower?
They did not get the Grand Tower, but they had a drink up top on the rooftop, and then they had a meal inside. Said it was fantastic. Blown away. And I snuck up Sunday afternoon for a cheeky, quick one on the roof as well. Very nice.
You know what you can see from up there?
The river?
Yeah, and Blake, you know the second part?
The fort.
Yes.
I don't know where they came up with the name.
You guys are geniuses.
Yeah, it's very creative.
Geniuses. All right, I can tell you this. This is another family business, quality people. Palm Valley Golf Course. I'm telling you right now, it's the best driving range in town, the most affordable golf you're going to play in St. Johns County. It's a 9-hole executive. You play it twice. Like I said, it's
gorgeous.
Cost effective. No, it's old school golf. You carry your bag, or you push it in a cart. There's no golf carts out there.
No golf carts.
Yeah. So
and family owned since the 1980s.
Yeah, I think 87, 89, somewhere around there. Chris and his family have owned that, and they're now getting into Tracer Golf, which is a virtual golf system. They have 15 bays,
and you can play any course.
You don't have to go all the way up to Top Golf to get that experience. You have the bays right there. You can have a drink. You know, it's illegal to gamble, but place some friendly wagers with your friends.
Gentlemen place wagers.
Yeah.
Vulgarians place bets.
Yeah. So it's a friendly wager.
Friendly wagers.
And it's not like hitting into a net. Some of the Tracer golfs that I've seen, you hit into the net. Like at the golf club, I think they have at Ponte Vedra, they have the Tracer golf, and they hit into a net.
Not so at Palm Valley.
Here you hit it out to the driving range.
That's
you
right.
actually get the feel and experience the ball leaving there. And I'm telling you, it's a cool experience. And so happy they're a part of what we're doing here.
Good guys.
Right. Guess what time it is?
Word origin time.
Word origin.
Okay.
You have two.
I got two. I got two, and they both seem fairly straightforward. But they're not.
Mine caught me a little off guard.
All right.
Okay.
So my first one was the streets are paved with gold, or the streets are lined with gold.
Okay.
That's what we were always told, in Ireland, coming to America, the streets lined with gold. Mm-hmm. So it goes back to the 19th century.
Okay.
From a book, 19th century book written in England about a fella called Dick Whittington and his cat. And it's based on that Dick, yeah. It's based on a 14th century Lord Mayor of London. And so the idea, originally, it was used as an ironic term. Because when Dick Whittington came to London to find his fame and fortune, he discovered that London was dirty, grimy, poverty-stricken, and disease-ridden.
Yes, it's a city.
It's a city. And he was Lord Mayor of London in the 14th century. It's a city
without public sanitation.
Yeah. And so his whole, I'll become the mayor and clean it up kind of thing was to make that dream come true. But yes, people in England used to say it was lined with gold or paved with gold in an ironic way. We in Ireland took it to mean go to America.
Or go to London. And
we'll pick it up off the streets.
Yeah.
We were lied to, Troy.
You were lied to.
That's only because, we didn't understand irony.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Sarcasm. Not a thing.
Not a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I thought you guys would be pretty good at it.
You'd think.
Yeah, spend a lot of time in the pub. You'd think it is. I can tell you this. I'm not sure if that's true because you might be pulling my leg.
I might be pulling your leg. Maybe a little bit.
So do you know the origin of pulling my leg? Or pulling your leg?
I think.
What do you think it is?
I think it has something to do with robbing people. Is
Well,
that right?
There's two.
Yeah.
But I went with the other one.
Okay. What's the
So
other one?
you give the other. Give that one first.
So I think there used to be like gangs of pickpockets and street thieves, and they'd go around and they'd pull your leg. The little guys would pull your leg, and you'd turn around and somebody would dip your pocket on the other side. Is that?
Oh, that's not entirely. They actually would lasso a person's leg.
What?
And hold him and
Hold him
basically
down.
mug him.
So it lacked the subtlety of my thing.
Yeah, the subtlety of yours was. I might have went with that one, but the one that is most associated with it, and I looked it up because a lot of word origins have multiple.
They do. They have
reasons.
multiple. Yeah.
But it also goes back to London, and it started being used with executions.
Okay. You have my attention, sir.
All right. So with executions, if a person is hung and their neck's not broke immediately, their family members would actually come and finish it to finish their suffering.
Oh, come on.
And I was like, okay, that can't be true. But I found it in 5 different sources.
Wow.
And they even sometimes would have the person hold on to him as they dropped him.
Wow.
To add the weight.
Right, so when your neck broke, you died, but if it didn't break, you're basically asphyxiating slowly.
You were suffering and asphyxiating.
Oh, so pulling your leg.
And somehow it became a more joking term.
Yeah.
And the transition of that is, he's pulling his leg. Are you pulling my leg? Like, are you killing me or what?
Wow.
So, like if you're pulling my leg, are you trying to kill me?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I saw the one that you're talking about, similar with the robberies, but it was actually pulling their leg, like they actually almost would lasso a person's leg and hold them to that place and mug them. Wow. All right. So what's your second one?
So my second one is the American Dream.
Yeah.
The American Dream.
Yours are very light. Mine are super dark.
Oh, this is not as light as it seems.
Okay, this was not as light.
The concept of the American Dream. So originally, it was not a dream of individual wealth or an idea of prosperity. Mm-hmm. It was a dream of equality, of justice, of democracy for everybody in the nation.
Okay.
But during the Cold War, it kind of became an argument for a consumer capitalist version of democracy.
Okay.
And that's the one we hold on to today.
Yeah.
Right?
Living the American dream.
But originally, in the progressive era, in that Gilded Age, right? Mm-hmm. When robber barons and wealthy people were consolidating all wealth and power, people thought that being a millionaire was a fundamentally un-American concept, right? And it was seen as anti-democratic because it was inherently unequal, right? Yeah. And so it was a criticism. And then the phrase was first written down in 1931, first coined in a book in 1931. Okay. James Truslow Adams, in the Epic of America.
That's during the Depression.
During the Depression.
Okay.
And he was trying to understand what went wrong in America to cause the Great Depression. Mm-hmm. And he felt that it was because the problem was that America had become too concerned with material wealth and we'd forgotten the higher dreams and aspirations that the country was founded on. And he said it was a failure of the American dream, the dream that existed originally.
And pretty much all our recessions, even where we're at right now, recessions, depressions, I mean, that was a full-on depression, have to do with future buyings that is almost buying ahead for the American dream. Like right now, the bank that failed is all about the Bitcoin that they tried to buy, which is like buying freaking air.
It's buying air, it's imagined value.
And that's the stock market controls that. And where they were at in 1931, the stock market fail in 29 was all about future buys that didn't exist.
But I love that the original idea was
so I understand.
better for everybody.
I get that one a lot. I get that one a lot. That makes total sense to me.
Yeah, and I love, and two of my favorite American books, of course, The Great Gatsby and Death of a Salesman, are all about the American dream and what happens when you can't get there.
And I had to read The Great, and I asked this trivia question. I might ask it in trivia. Is what was Gatsby's first name? And a lot of people don't know it's just Jay.
Jay Gatsby.
Yeah, but that wasn't his real name.
His real name was James Gatz. He was Jimmy Gatz.
Jimmy Gatz.
Yeah.
But I mean, all I need them to say is Jay. They don't even know the Jay. They don't know that was even a fake name about The Great Gatsby.
As an English lit teacher,
it's hurtful, isn't it?
Shame, people.
Shame.
Ding, ding.
All right, what's your second one?
All right, I can tell you this one. This one is dead as a doornail.
Dead as a doornail. Oh, my dad loved that expression.
Yeah, he used it a lot.
He did, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna hurt your dad's feeling a little bit. It came from the French.
My dad hated the French less than he hated the English.
So it's less.
Yeah.
It's
all right.
So it came from a poem in 1350.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And it's actually a term, dead as a doornail. You have any idea where this term comes from?
No clue.
All right, so it comes from a term talking about rigor mortis setting in.
Okay.
And the dead becoming so rigid.
All right.
And it becoming so firm and hard as a doornail. So if you're dead as a doornail, your kind of rigor mortis is set in, and it's not going to be revived.
A doornail as in what you would use to hang a door.
Correct.
Wow.
All right, and it was used in Shakespeare. It was used in A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
So it's been used in a lot of different centuries.
Yeah.
Dead as a doornail, but it has to do with rigor mortis of a body.
Wow.
Is how it originally came through in the French poem.
So when you were as dead as a doornail, you were dead.
You had been there a while.
Wow. That is very cool.
Yeah. Dark and cool.
Dark and cool. Both of yours are real dark.
1350 French poem is where it came from.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that so many of these common word origins are really gruesome. The things you just casually throw out there, they got some dark shit behind them.
Yeah, but I mean,
like that.
And I love this when you think about word origins and stuff like that. If you think about word origins and the number of words you have to describe a particular thing says how important it is to the culture.
Yes.
Like we only have like certain words we say for a cow.
Yeah.
All right. But you take that to Africa where cow is currency.
Yeah. You got a lot of words.
They got a lot of words for cow.
Right.
All right. Think of how many words we have for money.
Yes.
Bucks, dollars, moolah.
Yeah.
Think how many words we have for sexual body parts.
I can't think of a single one.
Yeah. See, in your culture, it's not important.
Not important.
Yeah, you liar. But I mean, you understand what I'm saying it is the number of words that are associated in a certain
tells you
culture,
how important it is.
So shows how important it is to that culture.
That's very cool.
So that's why I love word origins so much.
We have a lot of words for rain in Ireland. So
you have a lot of words for rain?
Yeah, and types of rain. Yeah. It's got to be where Julie's been in Ireland before. She's like, okay, what the fuck does it mean when it's misting or mizzening? What's the difference?
What's pouring piss out of a boot?
Yeah, like...
Do they use that term there?
No, we don't use that term, but like there are so many, but there's like misting and then mizzen, and she's like, come on, what's the difference?
I mean, raining cats and dogs, though.
Yeah? Yeah, coming from the city. Yeah, the thatched roof.
Thatched roofs. Yeah, we talked about that one. Yeah. All right, which one you want to get into? You want to go to churches or you want to go to hotels?
Either way, you choose.
Blake, what are you thinking?
I'll definitely say hotels first because
Hotels it is.
Hotels. And Blake and I's hotels are the same.
Okay.
I went to some crappy hotels before Blake came along.
You want to do? We both do a best one, then we both do a worst one.
Let's do best, worst.
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay. All right. I have top 3 best.
Okay.
All right. I have one in Washington, D.C.,
All right.
one in the Caribbean,
Okay.
and one in South Africa.
Ooh.
All right. The one in Washington, D.C. has the most history of the hotels. The one in Chobe, or the one in South Africa, has some cool history too. The Willard Hotel.
The Willard Hotel in D.C.
So in 2012, I walked from my house to the White House for autism.
You did.
And the hotel I ended up at, I rewarded myself, actually, the family, we rewarded, because it was a family event. It wasn't just me. The whole entire family was involved.
It was technically the week of spring break, so.
It was the week of spring break, and we stayed at the Willard Hotel in Washington, D.C. Do you know anything about the Willard?
I've gone past it. I've never been inside, but I've walked past it a bunch of times.
Okay, it's at just to give you exactly where it's at 1401 Pennsylvania Avenue.
All right.
So it's 4 blocks from the White House.
Yeah.
So we walked from there to the White House. But this is the hotel that Martin Luther King stayed at when he wrote an I Have a Dream speech.
Wow.
Matter of fact, he was still editing that in the lobby. The reason the lobby's important is the term lobbyist comes from the Willard Hotel.
Holy shit.
Because they would catch the politicians coming in and out of the hotel. So the Willard, it started off as 6 buildings, and it became the Willard in like 1847.
Yeah.
Also, the Willard is the place where, before his inauguration, Abraham Lincoln built up a pretty substantial bill and walked out on it.
That was the, 17,000 or something?
Yeah, it was like $16,000-$17,000 bill, and he walked out on it.
In 1860.
All right, yeah, it was a pretty substantial bill. But all the dignitaries stay at the Willard, and I'm telling you right now, I've never stayed in any place nicer.
Wow.
Nor do I think I ever will stay in anything nicer. And it's an intercontinental hotel, but it has so much history, some good history, some bad history. January 5th, it's where a lot of the people stayed that did the January 6th BS in the world.
Mm-hmm.
We don't say those.
We're gonna be cautious of that because we're on Facebook and we don't want to be
banned.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we all know what it was.
Actually, so I think fun fact. So when we originally went to the Willard, we got a smaller room than what we thought we were going to get, and actually
we were supposed to have a suite.
Yeah.
And we didn't get the suite, and we had to go back down, and we're like, okay, because there was 5 of us.
Yeah.
So my nephew, and Blake and Ty and Blake and Ty's mom. So we're all there, and we went down, and we're like, no, this is not what we asked for. And then they put us in this room.
And actually, that was room number 2. The first room we went was a corner suite, and it gave us a direct view of the Capitol.
Yeah, it was a direct view of the Capitol, but it wasn't big enough for the 5 of us.
Wow.
But I mean, if it was just 2 people staying there, it was phenomenal.
The bomb.
And the bar there is called the Round Robin Bar. It's like a circular bar, and it's all dark, and it's like an old cigar bar. Ooh. But the cherry blossoms.
Oh yeah, that's what a festival.
So the cherry blossoms are very famous for being inside the Willard lobby. And the cherry blossoms, as I learned a little bit when I was reading about the Willard today, it was a gift from Japan.
That's right, to Taft.
Yeah.
Taft and his wife. Yeah.
And it started that whole tradition of cherry blossoms.
That is really cool.
But the Willard, Blake, can you bring up a picture of the modern Willard?
Yeah, I already did.
Oh, you already did?
But
okay.
I can show you again.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So, yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Man, cool. So I have...
That's my number 1.
My favorite hotel that I ever stayed in, and it's kind of oddly similar. Mm-hmm. It's a hotel in Santiago de Compostela, which is on the west coast of Spain. And we stayed at this place after we did the Camino de Santiago. And we didn't The Camino de Santiago is the Way of St. James. It's an old pilgrim's walk. You walk from the south of France all the way across northern Spain. We rode our bicycles because we didn't feel like walking.
It's about a 500 miles.
500 mile, yeah. And so we'd stayed in a lot of hostels, a lot of low rent places on the way. And when we got to Santiago de Compostela, we treated ourselves and we stayed at the Palacio del Carmen, which was an old convent.
It's in Santiago.
In Santiago de Compostela. It's a 5-star Marriott. It's an old convent, so the architecture is unbelievable. And the hospitality, I remember the beds were like clouds. Like we couldn't believe. Now, to this day, I'm not sure if it was because we'd had a lot of fairly Spartan accommodation leading up to that.
Yeah.
But
A lot of community shower places.
this place was gorgeous. And the food was gorgeous. And the tapas and just every aspect. The coffee. I remember having coffee on a terrace one of the mornings. We stayed 3 nights. And just a cup of coffee, and it was this just extraordinary coffee. And we're sitting on a balcony kind of looking out at the world and being very pleased with ourselves. And, yeah. So, the Palacio del Carmen in Santiago de Compostela.
Was this it up here?
I don't think that's it. Maybe not. Maybe Palacio del Carmen.
That's what pulled up when I looked up online.
Okay.
Yeah, there was. And that could be I seem to remember more gardens and more beauty.
It might have again. It was a long journey.
It was a long journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. No, and that's actually really good for a long journey because that's what the Willer was to me.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of our theme.
Maybe it is.
It's at the end of a long journey.
Yeah.
So,
Give me a worst.
all right, worst one. Before we go to number 2,
Okay.
we're not going number 2, but hotel number 2 on the best list.
Yeah.
We stayed at our worst hotel we've ever stayed at. And this is with Blake. I've stayed at some bad ones without the family before when I was traveling ball. But this was a Days Inn in Orlando next to a county jail or prison. I'm not sure which. And if you open the window or the curtain, the jail was right there. Not like, okay, we're talking like there's window, parking lot, jail. All right. And we get in there and the doors don't lock. We're about to leave for a 13-day journey to Africa. All right. We're doing a safari and stuff like that. Family's going there. And so we were just like, okay, let's just find something close to the airport.
Yeah.
And we'll just stay real quick. And we're only there for maybe 7 or 8 hours.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, we're saving money. We're spending a ton of money going to Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah, we shouldn't have saved the money. I didn't sleep.
So I was going to say, what did you do?
I am a concealed carry guy, and I usually have a weapon with me, and I didn't have a weapon. So the only thing I had in my car was the knife that I have in my car. So I literally slept with the knife on my chest next to the door.
The Days Inn.
At the Days Inn in Orlando, next to the jail.
Whoa.
And like the water came out brown. I mean, it was just we were all just like, oh, if the trip's going to be like this. And the way we scaled our trip was we started very primitive.
Yeah.
And then we built up to fancy over the 13 days.
Yeah.
But we started extremely.
Yeah. In the United States of America.
Blake, how old were you? Like 15? Your brother was like 13?
It happened in 2015, so I'm 20. Yeah. So I think I was like 2017, so I was 16.
16. It was 17. Yeah. So he was 16. His brother was 14.
Nasty.
Yeah. So I pretty much spent the night right next to the door with a knife on my chest.
So
I got zero sleep.
The worst place I ever stayed in was a Motel 6, and we didn't end up staying. It was a Motel 6, and it was on Route 66 in Arizona.
Yeah, you can't make that shit up.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was out there with, it was 2008, and I was out there on a field trip with kids from Landrum Middle School.
Okay.
And we were out there, we're going to go to the Grand Canyon, and we're going to see Bryce Canyon and do a couple of other things.
Hotel 6.
And it was a hotel or Motel 6, whatever it was.
And this is Landrum.
Lantern Middle School, Ponte Vedra.
Fancy kids.
Fancy kids. Wow. And I'm checking in downstairs, and we're handing out room keys, and the kids are going up the stairs. And I've got got maybe 15, 20 kids.
Was it Kingsman, Arizona?
I can't remember where it was. Okay. I really can't. But some of the groups of kids come back downstairs, and they're like, Mr. Cullen, we can't stay here. And I'm thinking in my head, Ponte Vedra kids. Yeah, like, it's okay. And so then another one of the teachers went upstairs. He came back down, and he's like, dude, we got to go.
We can't stay here.
Right?
Yeah.
So we go upstairs. So the first thing, the door handle, the handle was sticky. Mm-hmm. Like sticky as to where you put your hand on it, and you're like, I might not get my hand off the door handle sticky. Mm. Then we went in, the kids are like, there's blood stains on the sheets. And then the kids had then pulled the sheets back, and there was brown stains that were, I don't know, old blood, something, some viscera, I don't know, on the bed. Stains on the carpets. And I was like, no, we gotta go. But the problem was, of course, we'd booked it through a tour company. Mm-hmm. So we had to call the tour company. It was EF Education Tours in Boston. Now, they hooked us up pretty quickly. And we were able to go right down the street to maybe a Comfort Inn or a Best Western or something. Yeah. Which was a serious step up. But I just remember touching the handle, and I'm going, oh fuck. Like, yeah. So.
Well, my number 2.
Your number 2, best hotel or worst?
Worst.
Worst, okay.
Worst hotel is actually in St. Augustine.
Okay.
It was in 1994. And now there's a beautiful hotel there called Victor Villas.
Okay.
Okay, so it's just north of where our Renaissance is.
Yeah.
All right, but there was a hotel called the American Inn.
Stayed there.
Did you?
Yes, I know it. I know exactly where you are.
Dear.
Yeah.
I can tell you this. I was here. I moved to Orlando for 1 year in 1994.
Yeah.
All right. I was here for a tournament. I was supposed to stay in Palatka, but at that time I was a single man.
Yeah.
And me and another guy I was playing with stayed too long in St. Augustine with some young ladies. And I was like, all right, we got to sleep somewhere. So we went there. It was $18. All right. The sheets actually crunched.
No. Oh.
There was blood stains on the curtains. And there was obviously a crack deal going next door.
Oh, fuck.
All right.
Please not we watch this during work.
And I can tell you, we literally, and my buddy's name was Sean. Me and Sean went, and we had a game in Palatka. It was a national tournament held here in St. Augustine.
Yeah, I remember.
But we had to play some games in Palatka, and our game was in Palatka. I was like, let's just go to Palatka, and we slept in my Bronco that night at the ball field. There was one police officer that came up, and we were like, listen, we play at like 9 o'clock in the morning. We're just sleeping here because I told him what happened. He laughed his ass off. And then me and Sean got zero sleep because it was, it was still like 85 degrees in the car, sweating like crazy. But it was so nasty. We were never, it wasn't like I had a family. It was me and, it was me and another young person that could protect ourselves. But the $18 was very attractive. And it was $18 I'll never get back. And it was so... And I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I'm so happy the new hotel's there now.
Let it go. Yeah.
But you stayed there.
I stayed there too.
What was your experience there?
So, my experience there is cloudy because it was during a time in my life.
Mine was very sobering.
During a time in my life,
ripped.
1996, when I may or may not have indulged heavily on regular occasions.
Okay.
So my memory is cloudy. I definitely stayed there probably more than once.
Wow. Once was good for me.
The worst during that time, I had an interesting experience. I don't know if it was the worst hotel, but I'd been over in Gainesville, in Dirty Nelly's in Gainesville, where the bartender was a guy I'd gone to college with. And I'd walked into Dirty Nelly's and he was behind the bar and we had one of those like, hey, kind of moments. I'd gone to college in rural Ireland and suddenly this guy. But I woke up one morning and I was upside down on a bed, and the light was streaming in, probably June, I think, of 1996. I remember the television was on. I remember Sports Center was on, and I was incapacitated. Would be a good way of putting my condition. Fully clothed.
Yeah.
The door at the
your functioning is a little
impaired. I think is the word.
Impaired.
The door was open to this hotel room, and I remember standing up and kind of thinking to myself, I'm not entirely sure where I am, or how I got here, or what the last thing I thought was. But I walked outside, and there was a parking lot. I was up on the second floor, and I was in a parking lot, and I still couldn't identify where I was. So I walked down, and I had to go onto the street. And once I got on the street, I could see the river, and I realized I was in Palatka. But how
It took you that long to get there? Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens.
It happens.
It happens.
Not so much anymore, but back then.
All right. My number 2 best.
Number 2 best, yeah.
All right. My number 2 best actually is when we actually got to Africa.
Okay.
So I told you we did a step up. We stayed in the savannah where you had to be walked from the common area to your tent.
Yeah.
It was glamping. It had hot water, but it was a tent.
Yeah.
But you had to be walked with the gentleman with a loaded rifle because at night the big cats are there.
Yeah, and you're not talking like Maine Coon fat kitties.
No, we're talking hungry, like we'll eat your face type stuff. But we kind of stepped up. We went from there to Victoria Falls. We stayed at a hotel there, a nice resort there, but it wasn't fancy. And then we went to Botswana.
Yeah.
So the place we stayed at Botswana, and Blake gave me this name, is the Chobe Game Lodge.
Okay.
All right. So Chobe Game Lodge had several different levels. So we went, okay, we're going Mac Daddy.
Yeah.
So the suite we stayed at is a suite that Liz Taylor and Richard Burton stayed for their second marriage.
Holy shit balls.
All right. So we had a pool.
I am impressed. Look at that.
There it is right there. We had a pool in our suite. That's pretty much.
You had a pool in your suite.
Right there in our suite. All right. If you look out, leaving that area, and look where we're sitting right now, that's the Zambia River. Damn. So you'd see hippos in the Zambia River as you're sitting in the pool like this with a cocktail and anything you wanted. And every night they gave you an authentic African dance before dinner. But when you open the door to that luxurious resort, you open the door, there would be a warthog right there. Like, he literally would be like, hey, what's going on, man? You were in the middle of everything, but it was pure luxury.
Wow.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Blake, it was amazing, right?
Yeah, the best trip we ever had.
It was by far the best vacation we've ever had.
But we'll say that, baby, you should have sent me the zebra, like me staring at the zebra video.
I can tell you this. Blake bonded when we were in the savannah, and it was the strangest thing I've ever seen. Like, zebras are very skittish, and they're very sketchy and stuff like that. Like, if anybody moves, they're like, oh, gosh. Like they're like neurotic animals.
Yeah.
Just like in what is that?
Yeah, Chris Rock in Madagascar.
Yeah. They're that. All right. But Blake bonded with this stupid zebra that hung out at our tent.
Seriously?
And, like, if we moved, the zebra would go away. But Blake would be, like, from me to you with this zebra.
And the zebra's just hanging out there.
It's a wild zebra. It's not like a zoo zebra. And it was the craziest shit I'd ever seen. And I don't know what it was up. But Blake bonded, like, he would sit on this porch and this zebra would be like hanging out with him. It was crazy.
I
absolutely
still don't know why.
Yeah, we don't know why. And it was like what, and it was like the funniest thing about this is they had to, where we were going into, they had to, before we took off from this area, we're flying a Cessna 206. All right. The guy flying the plane looked like he was 12 years old, and he was like 4'2".
That'll inspire confidence.
Blake's mom looks at me and goes, "Can you land this plane?" And I was like, "Can you show me where the flaps are?" And he shows me where the flaps are, and I was like, We're good. I was like, I got this plane.
Of course I can. Obviously.
I got this plane. I don't know where we're going to land, but I got this plane. But this guy literally, he looked younger than our boys who were 16 and 14.
Shit.
And the funniest thing, when we left, they had to send out people to chase off the baboons
from the runway.
But it was the most amazing trip. We did this swing across the Zambia. We did it was an amazing trip. But the Chobe Game Lodge in Botswana,
that's the place.
Phenomenal.
All right, so my second best hotel, nowhere near that luxury, but it was the Hotel Frankenstein.
I love it already.
Frankenstein in Cusco, Peru. In Peru.
Okay.
Yeah. Cusco's the old Incan capital. It's kind of your jumping off point.
Never been
you
to
want to
Peru.
do the Incan Trail, or you want to get the train down to Machu Picchu, that kind of thing. Huge mural of Frankenstein, massive, on the wall outside, owned by a German guy.
Okay, that makes sense.
Super gothic and kind of creepy, right? But at the same time, incredibly nice, really, really comfortable, right? Like just a beautiful place. I spent 4 or 5 nights there. That's it, right? Yeah, right? So, and right in the bang of downtown, yeah? But, came home late one night, and come into the place, and suddenly I hear screaming, and there was some Australian people there, some other tourists there, and I hear screaming, so I kind of go running in. The German guy there, he's got a big Frankenstein mask on, he's up on stilts attached to his feet, so he's about 7'4", he's got and they got the big gloves on, and he's just scared the absolute crap out of these Australian women.
Beautiful.
And they're screaming and they're like cussing at him. And they're, fuck you, it's not funny. And he lifts the thing off and he looks and goes, it's funny to me.
Yeah. I think it's funny. And he thinks it's funny.
Yeah. And I will already, how he said, it's funny to me, is one of my favorite moments, because it was like, how do you not love that guy?
Yeah. Gotta love him.
Yeah.
You gotta love him.
It was really.
Germans aren't known for their sense of humor.
It was great.
Yeah.
And the beds were incredibly like it looked a little, like it didn't look nearly as good as it was. And it was beautiful. And it was German, it was immaculately clean, whole kind of Peruvian style, but it was beautiful. Yeah, and he was just a funny dude. Yeah. And he'd been in Cusco for 25 years or so, and I'm sure he's still there.
You ever heard the Robin Williams when he's talking about in Germany, like why there's no German comedians? And he goes, well, you ever think you might have killed them all? And he's in Berlin telling that joke.
I mean, come on. Yeah.
They're not known for their comedy.
They're not.
So, all right, I'm going to stay on the more positive side and not go to the negative, because I have a lot of bad ones that I played ball with and stuff like that and traveled around where you ended up sleeping in your car. All right, this one is more about the place than it is the hotel.
Okay.
All right, and it's called Anegada Beach Club.
Anegada Beach Club. Where is it? And
it is in Anegada in the British Virgin Islands.
Ooh.
There's only 200 people that live on this island. And Anegada Beach Club actually is glamping.
Okay.
So I really like to glamp. I don't want to be like so hoity-toity. I like to kind of be, all right, let me do the thing and put me in the environment. And Blake, do you have that? All right, so they have these huts.
Wow.
That are right on the Caribbean. Right, if you walk out of that hut, you walk 50 yards, you're in the water.
And there's only 200 people on this island.
There's only 200 people on this island.
Holy
if you
moly.
swim 100 yards, you're over the largest reef in the Caribbean.
Come on.
And
it was definitely phenomenal.
It's phenomenal, dude. I'm telling you, it's phenomenal.
Oh, I need to talk to you about that.
It's a great place to take the family. It puts you right in the middle of nature, and the food, the restaurants there are so good.
Lots of lobster.
Lobster. If you love lobster, I can tell you this: I've had lobster in Maine, and I've had lobster in Anegada lobster. You have to tell them what you want for dinner, and then they go out and catch it.
They go and get it.
Yeah, But one other thing, if you get seasick, do not take the boat rides over there.
Yeah,
I don't get seasick.
You have to take a ferry.
Yeah.
You have to take a ferry from Tortola
over there.
Over there. You take a ferry from St. Thomas if you fly into U.S. Tortola, and then Tortola to Anegada. Yeah. But if you do take the ferry, don't let them put your luggage on the top, because then your zippers don't work anymore because all the salt water gets on it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay, good to know.
Yeah. Well, Anegada Beach Club, like I'm telling you right now, you need to check it out.
Well, I'm going to give a special shout out to what is a great hotel, but also might be the worst hotel.
Okay.
All right. And this is the Europa Hotel in Belfast.
Europa in Belfast.
In Belfast. And it is astonishingly beautiful. If you went there today, every artist, every famous person, every politician stays there when they go to Belfast. Mm-hmm. Clintons have stayed there a bunch of times. Bob Dylan, like Julia Roberts, everybody. Mm-hmm. But it was opened in 1971 when we were engaging in tomfoolery of a spectacular level in Northern Ireland.
That's when you guys invented the car bomb, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Europa...
Congratulations on that.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, you guys did well.
Thank you very much.
You guys did well.
Yeah, I don't think we get enough credit for that.
Yeah, you did well.
The Europa Hotel between 1971 and 1994 was bombed 36 times, making it the most bombed hotel in the world.
So they got that going for them.
They got that going for them.
Yeah. Resilience is their strong suit.
Several times. And there's all the reporters. So it was designed to be a luxury hotel. And then, of course, chaos broke out. Mm-hmm. So all the reporters used to stay there. And the reporters from all the news stations around the world would do rotations, send 2 or 3 out. Mm-hmm. 2 or 3 would come back. And then they'd share the stories with everybody else, and they'd write it up in their own words. And then the next day, other people would go because it was so fucking dangerous.
Yeah, it was unsafe.
At one stage, it was a massive bomb in 91, maybe, and the hotel was so badly damaged that blew a whole side of it off and a whole side of the next building, which was the Grand Opera House in Belfast. And so from the lobby in the Europa Hotel, you could look right into the Opera House.
But, yeah, I got front row seats.
Yeah. But there was another story where the IRA had blown up. There was a water tank at the top of it. And the IRA blew up the water tank.
And flooded the hotel.
And it flooded the hotel. And the journalist downstairs in the bar just pulled out umbrellas and kept drinking.
So it's best and worst on the list. That best and worst. Sounds like the most amazing one.
Yeah. If you're ever in Belfast.
36
times.
What was the last bombing?
I think 93. 93, yeah.
For now.
36.
Do you have an overrated hotel where you're like, oh, this is going to be great?
No, I don't think so. I like before the wife and kids, I stayed in a lot of places I didn't care.
Yeah.
That today we'd be like, that's horrible.
I wouldn't stay in it as a family.
Yeah. But
I stayed in a lot of hotels with teammates.
Yeah.
Where it was like, and I can tell you this, the most afraid I've been in a hotel.
Yeah.
Was and I didn't realize where I was at because I wasn't really paying attention. But I went to Black Nationals with the DeLand Blackhawks. So you're allowed and they have tournaments where it's all black teams.
Yeah.
But you're allowed 2 non-black players on the team, and I was one of the non-black players. So I was in Birmingham, and I got thirsty, and we had checked into a hotel in a predominantly black neighborhood. And we're talking early 90s and stuff like that. And it was, when crack was really starting to hit. And I went out just to go to the convenience store.
Yeah.
And when I got there, I was like, I made a very vital cultural mistake in my life.
Yeah.
All right. And I mean, everyone was cool about it. They're like, dude, what you doing? I was like, I'm playing it. My guys are back here. I was like, I'm just coming to get a drink. They're like, it was super cool, but it could have went very, very wrong if I had walked in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And when I got back, the guy's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because I mean, the guy, the coach of the team is my son's Ty Austin Blevins. So Austin he's named after, this is how close a friend that he was to me.
Yeah.
He's like, and he was so mad at me. He's like, dude, you know where you're at. I was like, I do now.
Yes.
And I won't make the mistake tomorrow night because it could be a different group that I walk into. Wow. Because, I mean, gang culture is a different culture.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
All right, but we'll say, but one overrated hotel that we stayed at as a family was the W Times Square.
Oh, it was so small. It's like smaller than this studio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
It was. I mean, it was a cool location, but literally you had to scooch past the beds.
Yeah, I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
No scooching.
No scooching.
Yeah. But the only thing that sucked for me was the only billboard that we got to see was the M&M World's billboard.
Yeah. So, I mean, but we that was a good trip.
It was a good trip.
You got to be on the Today Show.
Yeah, it wasn't all bad. Yeah.
So
We should talk about our sponsors.
wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Man, we're super late.
Time flies,
All right.
you know.
All right. Us run through them real quick. Palm Valley Golf Course, the Tracer Golf. We only have 10 minutes left.
Yeah. Hey guys, get up to Palm Valley and play golf at Palm Valley Golf Course.
Check 'em out there.
It'll change the way you think about golf.
I can tell you right now, if you're learning golf, it's the best place to go. River and Fort, amazing. If you wanted to impress a date,
Yes, take your date to
them
River
there.
and Ford.
You take them there. You have an anniversary, you have a birthday, go there.
Hell yeah.
We just went for a birthday celebration a couple weeks ago. They treated us amazing.
The Pirate Museum, the St. Augustine Pirate Museum. Oh, you know I love this place. It's my favorite. I love this museum. I go there a ridiculous amount of time. Over 800 artifacts, the nicest people. Cindy, thank you so much. The Croce family, thanks for bringing the place here. Guys, go to the St. Augustine Pirate Museum.
All right, Meehan's Irish Pub. I'm telling you right now, it's not just about the drink. They have amazing. I tell people this. I'm a bar food kind of guy, and I'm a bar food expert. We should have a bar food.
Oh, we should. Best bar food.
Best bar food. I'm telling you right now, Meehan's wins that.
I think so.
Best bar food. Just crush it. Blake was talking about the mac and cheese. I did the meatloaf. But
Tommy Dolan.
Yeah, Tommy Dolan burger. There's so many good things on that menu.
Beacon Listening Room and Gypsy Cab. Beacon Listening Room. Go there before concert at the Amp, after concert at the Amp. Go there just to listen to the music. The staff is amazing. The job they do on Wednesday nights getting drinks in and out for trivia is gobsmacking.
If you want to go on Wednesday night, you better call the Wednesday
Better
before.
call.
So just letting you know.
Yeah.
Just
Abare,
amazing.
Kresge and Associates.
Yes, the best.
The best.
All right, it's tax season. You need to give these guys a call. They'll save you money, even though you feel like you're spending money, but they're saving you money.
Yes, they will. 900-degree pizza and pasta. If you haven't been there, and I know there's a lot of you out there who haven't been there, go here. This pizza is incredible. You say it all the time. You open the box, it looks like a pizza. It tastes like the best star pizza you're going to put in your mouth. It is incredibly
The sauce
good.
is incredible. They take pride in what they do.
Yeah.
The ravioli, the pasta, everything over there is just. Blake's a lover of the garlic knots. Amazing job. City Gates Distillery and St. Augustine Distillery. Best tour in town. Best bourbon in town. Best liquors in town. Can't say anything more about those guys. They just do an amazing job.
Amazing job.
Appreciate them being here in town. They make the town better. All of our sponsors make our town better. And if you would, please go out and support them.
Support these guys, please, because they do. They add so much of our talent to our community.
All right. Churches.
Churches.
I don't know how many
couple of churches.
We're only going to be able to get to a couple of them. What you got? What's your first one?
Okay, my first one is my favorite church in the world.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Cathedral in Cologne, Germany.
All right.
It's the Dom. It was originally started in 1248, and it was only finished in 1860 or 1880. So they were building it for 600 and something years.
Wow.
It is.
And I thought I had a tough project going on right now. Yeah.
So at 515 feet high, it's the tallest twin-spire church in the world. It's the second tallest church in Europe. During World War II, the entire city of Cologne was flattened, and this Gothic, medieval, black, incredible building on the River Rhine stayed. Mm-hmm. But what makes it my favorite, all of that makes it very, very cool. But I was there in 1988, and they were renovating the towers that wouldn't let you up. I was there in 1989. They were renovating the towers that wouldn't let us up. I was back in 1998.
Still renovating.
Still renovating. I went through the damn place in 2001.
Still renovating.
Still renovating. I was back
They take their time.
I was back in 2015. I was with the wife and kids. The towers were open. Mm-hmm. And Julie and myself were the first ones in the tower when it opened at 8 a.m. And we ran all the way up. The view overlooking the River Rhine, everything from this Gothic cathedral.
From 500 feet.
Incredible. incredible. But the first time I saw it, I came out of the train station, 1988, and Cologne is a low city because it's flattened in World War II. And you come out of the train station, and you turn, and you go, and you just can't believe it because
you can't look high enough.
You can't look high enough, and it's right outside the door, and it's this black Gothic cathedral. Incredible.
All right, how much time we got, Blake? 5 minutes. All right. The one I have to talk about is St. Peter's Basilica.
Yeah.
I have 3, and I have some cool ones, and we'll flash the pictures up. But you cannot talk about churches and not talk about the Vatican and Vatican City and St. Peter's Basilica.
It is
the catacombs underneath.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been there, correct?
I have been on the roof. I've been on the all the way to the top. On the outside, I've been the top of the dome.
I didn't make that. I didn't know that was the thing.
Yeah.
Now I feel cheated.
And Julie's been underneath.
I went underneath.
Yeah.
I did the underneath part, but I did not go to the roof.
I did.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you right now, and if you're an art lover in any way, shape, or form, you'll learn to appreciate Raphael.
Yeah.
And you'll learn to appreciate Michelangelo.
Yeah.
Like you cannot believe what he performed in those 5 years and the progression of his talent, because he was a sculptor.
Yeah.
And you can tell where he started.
Yeah.
And you can tell where he was a master.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's the most incredible room I think I've ever been in.
Oh, I want to put
The
this.
Sistine Chapel to me is the most, I mean,
It's incredible.
but the rooms leading into it where Raphael did the 3 or 4 rooms leading into that.
Mind-boggling.
It's incredible the talent these gentlemen had.
You can put in St. Peter's, sitting down 20,000 people. Mm-hmm. If they stand, you can put 60,000 into it.
Yeah.
60,000 inside
Yeah.
the basilica.
The doors alone that they only open every 10 years. The doors alone will blow your mind.
Yeah. And it's called St. Peter's because all the way underneath it is the tomb of St. Peter.
Yep.
The first pope, the guy who walked with Jesus. Yeah. And the architects were Bernini and Michelangelo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Doesn't get
It
any
is
better.
the greatest bit of Renaissance art.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. If you are a church person, I love, the Presbyterian Church here. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Do you know there's 2 domes?
There's one inside,
There's
isn't
a
there?
dome inside.
Yeah.
When they renovated it, they just said, okay, let's build on top of it.
Yeah.
But and we look at that as like, oh, that church that's kind of our.
And
Mecca
it is
or whatever
pretty darn
it's
spectacular.
It's one of the top, most beautiful churches in the United States.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you,
St. Peter's.
St. Peter's Basilica, and we have one of the few basilicas in the U.S.
Yeah.
Here in St. Augustine.
That's right.
Also very beautiful. All right, what's your other one?
Okay, so very, very quickly, I do want to talk about. You want to do the bone one?
Do the bone one because I want to show the picture of the Sedona.
So in the Czech Republic, there's a church called the Sedlec Ossuary.
Yeah.
Ossuary. Underneath the church, there's 40 to 70,000 bones arranged in artistic designs and constructions. There are chandeliers.
It's all human bones.
All human bones.
When we say bones, it's all human
all
bones.
human bones. There are cups and urns. Every niche in the wall in the church is bones.
But you don't get served toe in your wine.
You don't.
Yeah.
No, it's not that kind of a place.
Different show.
But there's a coat of arms of a noble family made entirely from bones of dead people. It contains a raven.
Hopefully of their dead people.
A raven plucking the eye from a decapitated head. And it's all depicted and done in bones. The Sedlec Ossuary in the Czech Republic. 40 to 70,000 dead bodies and bones.
All right.
Amazing.
So I wanted to try and find the coolest church in the U.S.
Okay.
All right. So I went to the Chapel of Holy Cross in Sedona. Oh. Blake, can you pull that one up for us?
This thing's beautiful.
So it is actually in the canyon.
Look at that.
The church is in the canyon. And in the United States, I couldn't find anything cooler
than that
church.
Yeah, I agree, sir. I agree.
It's incredible. I mean, I love our churches here, but that blows them away.
Yeah.
So, all right, we got time.
We got time?
That's a black screen, Blake.
Okay.
1 minute. He's what he's saying.
Okay, so there's a church in the Chêne Chapelle,
Okay.
the Chapel Oak in Normandy, France, which is It's an oak tree. It's a church entirely built inside a massive 900-plus-year-old oak tree. William the Conqueror prayed under it before he invaded England in 1066.
Yes.
It was hit by lightning in the 17th century, which burned the interior of it. The local abbot and priest saw it as a sign from God, so they built 2 small churches inside of it. Yeah. The tree is still alive. The tree is still alive.
This looks so Harry Potter.
Yeah. And they've got like staircases built around the outside of it to get into it. You got to check this and look it up on the internet. The Chene Chapelle, Chene Chapelle. It is the coolest. You're right. It's Harry Potter.
It looks very Harry Potterish, and it's super cool. All right. Not to leave out South America, Blake, if you'll pull up that one. This was the coolest one I found in South America. It's actually the opposite of what you're just talking about.
Okay.
It is very modern. It's 124 meters tall. It's the tallest church in the Americas. Blake, you find that picture?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Okay. All right. Sorry. But believe it or not, its design, it finished in 1972. Its design came from the Sputnik.
From Sputnik?
It's in Brazil. It's in Paraná, Brazil. And my Portuguese friends are like probably hate me right now.
Yeah.
But it's the Cathedral of Moringa.
Moringa, yeah. And it's designed based off of Sputnik.
A Russian, a Soviet satellite. A non-religious satellite's what the designer, the architect, got his inspiration from.
That is so cool.
All right, I tell you what, we might have to come back to the churches thing. We left a lot on that table.
Left a lot of houses of worship on the table.
All right, I want to say thank you to everybody. If you enjoy this show, if you don't enjoy the show, please hit that share button.
Tell everybody.
Support our sponsors. They're amazing people. They keep us doing what we're doing. Thank you, Derek. I appreciate you coming
in every week.
Always a pleasure,
Troy.
This is Bollox Talks and Tangents, and we'll be back next week.
See ya.